There are a lot of ways for the world to end. If it does, will you be ready? Well, owners of these homes can live out the end of days in safety, security, and luxury, having blown millions on their top-notch survival pad. Some of these homes have built-in moats, sit on top of mountains, or are on an island far away from humanity. From fortified bunkers to self-sustaining fortresses, these are the 15 buildings designed to survive the fiercest doomsday scenarios. Let's begin with number 15. Martello Towers. The Martello Towers are scattered along Guernsey's coastline in the Channel Islands. These compact but tough military outposts were built during the late 18th and 19th centuries. The design was based on the round tower at Mortella Point in Corsica, which resisted a British naval assault in 1794. The Martello style was adopted across the British Empire to defend against French attack. Located near the French coast, Guernsey was vulnerable, prompting the British to build 15 towers on the island between 1804 and 1812. Each circular tower stood around 40 feet tall, with walls 8 to 12 feet thick. They housed small garrisons and supported a single heavy cannon on a rotating platform. The layout was simple: supplies below, barracks above, and a raised single entry accessible by ladder. The towers deterred attack and were reused in World War II by German forces. With stone walls and isolated locations, many still stand to this day. Number 14. The Survival Condo Project. This project in Kansas is one of the most well-known examples of a Cold War military structure repurposed as a luxury survival complex. Located inside a decommissioned Atlas F missile silo from the 1960s, the site was originally built to withstand a direct nuclear blast. Developer Larry Hall bought the silo in 2008 and converted it into high-end condominiums built for long-term off-grid survival. The original military-grade shell reaches 200 feet underground and includes 9-foot-thick reinforced concrete walls capable of absorbing a 20-kiloton detonation. Multi-ton blast doors secure the entry points. The entire site is self-sustaining, with backup power, filtered air, and clean water. Inside, it's now a vertical neighborhood, with private condos spanning one or more levels. Units include full kitchens, bedrooms, and custom finishes. Shared amenities include a pool, gym, theater, library, medical clinic, and hydroponic farms. Designed to shelter 70 people, it blends extreme resilience with luxury and signals a shift toward high-end survival housing. Number 13. Fort Jefferson. Fort Jefferson stands on Garden Key in Dry Tortugas National Park, roughly 70 miles west of Key West, Florida. It's one of the largest masonry forts ever built in the United States. Constructed in the mid-19th century as part of America's coastal defense network, its isolated location and enormous scale give it unmatched durability. Work began in 1846, driven by the strategic value of the Dry Tortugas Islands. These islands sit at a key maritime junction in the Gulf of Mexico, controlling access to the Straits of Florida, vital for ships passing between the Mississippi River and the eastern seaboard. Built from over 16 million bricks hauled in by ship, Fort Jefferson spans 16 acres and features 8-foot-thick walls and 3 gun tiers. Though construction was never fully finished, it operated as a Union prison during the Civil War, housing figures like Dr. Samuel Mudd. Despite hurricanes, saltwater erosion, and abandonment, the structure remains standing, a testament to intelligent placement and enduring design. Number 12. Payanen White Mountain Data Center. Payanen White Mountain Data Center sits buried beneath 30 meters of granite in Stockholm, Sweden. It was originally built in the 1940s as a Cold War nuclear bunker, but it was later upgraded in the 1960s for increased defense. In 2008, internet provider Bahnhof transformed it into a high-security data center, maintaining its blast-resistant structure while adding modern design. Its deep granite shelter protects against EMPs, explosions, and sabotage. It operates independently with diesel generators, backup power feeds, and secure fiber lines. Inside, thick steel doors, glowing rock walls, and climate-controlled rooms balance security and comfort. The space also includes aquariums and indoor gardens to reduce psychological stress for staff. The facility drew global attention in 2010 when it hosted WikiLeaks servers during a major U.S. data release. While built to withstand nuclear fallout, Pioneer now protects global data. Its hardened Cold War legacy makes it one of the most secure, reimagined apocalypse-resistant structures. Number 11. Mount Pony. Mount Pony, also known as the Culpeper Switch, is a Cold War-era underground facility located in Culpeper, Virginia. It was built in 1969 by the U.S. Federal Reserve and Treasury Department for a unique purpose: to safeguard the U.S. monetary system after nuclear war. Unlike bunkers made for military leaders, Mount Pony was designed to protect the economy. It stored over $1 billion in clean currency, shrink-wrapped and ready to replace contaminated cash. Engineered to endure a nuclear blast, it had self-sustaining infrastructure: living quarters, secure vaults, a cafeteria, water, and power systems. It also functioned as a communications hub, linking the Federal Reserve network after a disaster. After the Cold War, the emergency cache, over $4 billion, was destroyed. In 2008, the site was repurposed as the Library of Congress National Audiovisual Conservation Center. The same climate-controlled spaces that once stored money now protect film and audio archives, but its original design still feels darkish. Number 10. Norsk Hydro Facility at Vemork. The Norsk Hydro Facility at Vemork in Norway holds deep historical weight, from World War II sabotage to Cold War fortification. Originally built in the 1920s as a hydroelectric power station, Vemork became infamous in the 1940s when Nazi Germany used it to produce heavy water for nuclear research. In 1943, Allied forces sabotaged the plant, preventing the Axis from acquiring enough material for atomic weapons. After the war, Norsk Hydro resumed civilian operations, but Cold War tensions led to reinforced bunkers being added around the site. These fortified sections served as secure zones for energy storage, personnel shelter, and operational continuity in case of conflict. Norway's NATO role and proximity to the USSR made facilities like Vemork critical. Heavy water production ceased in the 1980s, but parts of the Cold War infrastructure remain. While some areas are open to visitors, the deeper bunkers are still sealed. Its layered history makes Vemork one of Europe's most distinct, apocalypse-ready complexes. Number 9. Vivos X Point. Vivos X Point is one of the largest private underground shelter communities in the world. Located in the Black Hills of South Dakota, the site originally served as the Black Hills Ordnance Depot, built during World War II by the U.S. Army to store explosives. It includes 575 reinforced concrete and steel bunkers spread across 18 square miles. After military deactivation, the Vivos Group acquired the land and repurposed it as a civilian survival colony. Each bunker is semi-buried under earth berms, making them naturally resistant to radiation and shock waves. They're retrofitted with plumbing, electricity, ventilation, and blast-resistant steel doors. Buyers or leaseholders can customize interiors, while Vivos provides communal infrastructure like roads, water, and security. The site is far from nuclear targets and urban chaos, ideal for off-grid security. Though not designed for luxury, some conversions include kitchens, bathrooms, and solar power. While critics argue it reflects survival inequality, Vivos X Point remains one of the most extensive civilian doomsday communities ever developed. Number 8. Fort Boyard. Fort Boyard is one of France's most daring maritime fortifications, located in the Pertuis d'Antioche Strait on a sandbank called Lange de Boyard. This oval-shaped stone sea fort was designed to guard the naval arsenal at Rochefort from British attacks. The idea was first proposed under King Louis XIV, but shifting sands and engineering limits delayed construction. In 1801, Napoleon Bonaparte revived the plan, and construction began in 1804. The fort spans about 68 meters long and 31 meters wide, with 20-meter-high walls rising from the sea. Though it was finally completed in 1857, rapid advances in naval weaponry had already made the fort obsolete. Still, its thick stone structure has endured over 150 years of salt water, storms, and tides. Accessible only by boat or helicopter, the interior contains multiple levels suited for storage and shelter. Though it lacks natural water, rain catchment or nearby islands could support life. Today, Fort Boyard remains a protected monument, an ocean-bound relic built to survive. Number 7. Habitat 67. Habitat 67 in Montreal stands as one of the iconic examples of architectural experimentation, doubling as structural resilience. Built for Expo 67, the modular housing complex was designed by architect Moshe Safdie as a vision for affordable urban living. Composed of 354 stacked concrete modules forming 146 unique units, the structure is more than just eye-catching. It's inherently durable. Each unit is a reinforced concrete box with thick walls, providing unexpected protection from blast and radiation, well beyond normal residential standards. Though not built as a bunker, its interconnected layout and dense concrete form reflected civil defense ideals of the time. Canadian authorities during the 1960s advocated thick concrete buildings for fallout protection, and Habitat 67 fit that standard unintentionally. Positioned along the St. Lawrence River, its semi-isolated location added another layer of security. While it's now a prized residential landmark, its reinforced, minimal glass design remains a quiet reminder of how experimental housing once accidentally aligned with apocalypse-era defense thinking. Number 6. Pigeon Island. This island is home to a series of fortifications that have withstood centuries of conflict. Once a standalone island, it was connected to the mainland by a man-made causeway in the 1970s, though its isolation still remains. The earliest military structures were built in the 18th century, when the British established a naval stronghold amid their long struggle with the French. Fort Rodney, the most dominant, was built atop the island's summit to oversee critical shipping lanes and monitor activity near Martinique, located 25 miles away. Constructed from local stone, the thick walls, underground cisterns, and vaulted storage spaces allowed troops to survive sieges and extended isolation. The compound once housed barracks, magazines, kitchens, and a fully self-reliant military setup. Though its military role ended long ago, the island's elevation, defensible location, and stonework still make it ideal for shelter. Now a national park, Pigeon Island preserves the architecture that remains ready to resist both storm and conflict. Number 5. Grain Tower Battery. The Grain Tower Battery, positioned at the mouth of the River Medway in Kent, England, stands as one of Britain's most peculiar defensive structures. Built on a tidal sandbank in the Thames estuary, it's only reachable at low tide or by boat. Construction began in 1848 as part of the Royal Commission's coastal fortification plan to protect naval dockyards at Chatham. Based on the Martello Tower model, its circular form was scaled up to hold heavier weapons. Finished in 1855, the fort was originally armed with 32-pounder guns and later upgraded with rifled artillery and quick-fire guns during both World Wars. Reinforced with brick and granite, the tower has 12-foot thick foundations set atop timber piles embedded in sand. Additions like concrete bunkers and searchlight posts expanded its wartime capabilities. Though decommissioned, it remains structurally sound. Surrounded by tidal waters, it's naturally defended, with a rooftop that offers a full panoramic view. The grain tower is now a weathered but intact fortress at sea. Number 4. Underground Desert House. Beneath suburban LA lies one of the most unusual Cold War residences, a luxury underground home built to survive nuclear war while preserving everyday comfort. Designed in 1978 by businessman Jerry Henderson, the house was part of a broader Cold War movement where private citizens invested in fully self-contained survival shelters. Positioned 25 feet underground, it was built to resist fallout and long-term isolation. Unlike typical bunkers, it was created to maintain a sense of normalcy. The 15,000 square foot space includes a 5,000 square foot main house, guest quarters, pool, spa, and artificial lawn painted with murals of sky and mountains. Structurally, reinforced concrete and steel provide protection from shock and blast, while the underground location stabilizes internal temperatures. Decorated in late 1970s style, wood paneling, plush carpet, and period furniture, it still shows serious planning. Features like the pool and grill area weren't just luxuries, but were designed to sustain morale. Though no longer private, the house is now preserved as a rare Cold War survival artifact. Now let's move to number 3, the Oppidum. The Oppidum, located in the Czech countryside near the German border, is often cited as the largest private underground shelter on Earth. Originally developed during the Cold War as a joint Czechoslovak-Soviet project, the complex was intended to protect political and military leaders in case of nuclear war. Built in the 1980s, the site was chosen for its geological stability and proximity to key transportation routes. Reinforced concrete walls, several meters thick, and blast-proof doors shield the facility. After the Cold War, it remained dormant until a private investor purchased and redeveloped it in the 2000s. Now a luxury shelter for ultra-wealthy clients, the Oppidum includes energy systems, water treatment, secure communications, and medical services. Hydroponic farms and food reserves support long-term survival. Inside, high ceilings, artificial windows, and luxury interiors help reduce bunker fatigue. While the exact occupancy is confidential, it's estimated to accommodate dozens for extended periods. Number 2. Elliday Hunting Lodge. This lodge is one of the most remote buildings on Earth. Located on a steep-sided volcanic islet off the southern coast of Iceland, this lone white structure often sparks myths about its purpose. Contrary to rumors, it isn't a celebrity's hideout or a survivalist base. It's a hunting lodge owned by the Elliday Hunting Association. Built in the 1950s, the house was intended for puffin hunters visiting seasonally. There are no permanent residents, harbor, or utilities. Access is only possible by boat or helicopter depending on weather conditions. The house is built from timber, insulated for cold weather, and positioned on the island's only flat surface, away from crashing waves. Though basic inside, it has bunks, a small kitchen, and storage for food and water. Supplies are brought in during visits. Its isolation, elevation, and access to seabirds and fish make it a potential last resort refuge. Simple, self-sufficient, and shielded by nature rather than by walls. Number 1. Earth Shelter Dome Homes. The Earth Sheltered Dome homes in Hancock, New Hampshire represent a rare blend of eco-conscious construction and Cold War-era survival logic. Built into hillsides and covered with soil and plants, these dome-shaped structures were developed in the 1970s with energy efficiency and disaster resilience in mind. Constructed with reinforced concrete shells, they use the surrounding earth as thermal insulation and protective shielding against blast and radiation. This design reduces the need for heating and cooling, while also offering natural defense against flying debris and extreme weather. Geodesic and monolithic principles guide the architecture, distributing structural stress evenly to maximize durability. During an apocalyptic scenario like nuclear fallout or climate collapse, The camouflaged, low-profile design offers stealth and stability. Many homes include wood stoves, rainwater collection, septic systems, and solar arrays for off-grid living. Originally part of the Back to the Land movement, they've regained relevance in modern survivalist circles. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll see you in the next one.